Good morning, welcome, come on in to today's FEM-ATHON, day 10 of the FEM-ATHON. My goodness. Do announce yourself as you come on so that I know that you are there. As we dive on into today's topic, important topic actually, very important topic, which is that of these essential differences between the true and the false feminine. So let me know you're there. When you're coming on, I am cold today. I can't seem to get myself warm. So I'm all rugged up for our session here today. I will get started fairly soon, but grab yourself some tea whilst we wait just a few minutes for some of our friends to arrive. Okay, whilst we're waiting for some of our friends, maybe you can be sharing. Catherine, hello. Hello. Verma, I think I can see. And for those of you that attended the FEM-ATHON yesterday, maybe you can share with us your percentage of masculine and feminine that you're feeling inside you right now, in order that you can get used to doing that, but also in order to get used to sharing that in sisterhood. Beautiful lovelies. Okay, I'm going to dive on in. So a huge big welcome to day 10 of the FEM-ATHON. I am drinking a pu'er tea today. It's a very dark, cave-aged black tea that I import from China. And it's just what I needed today because I've been up since 4 o'clock. There's quite a lot that goes on in the background to do this work for you, my loves, but it is absolutely my pleasure. So if you are new here, you've jumped into the middle of a 15-day FEM-ATHON, which is where I'm doing live streams and videos, and the grand finale is a masterclass next Monday. Okay, it's being conducted 3 times, so you will have 3 opportunities to attend it at different times during the day. During the FEM-ATHON, I'm going to be discussing, I am and have been discussing, many myths, mistakes, and misconceptions that I've seen again and again and again, that many women come to me around feminine power and energy. And essentially I'm going to be answering the question and redirecting you along the lines of this question: how the heck did we get here as women, and what do we need to do to fully embrace and open to our feminine power and our essential selves again? I can tell that I am slurring a little bit because I'm tired, so forgive me for being a little slurry and slow today. So you're also being invited into a unique masterclass event next Monday, in which you're going to get to dive down deep into your feminine power and what's keeping you really stuck there. Now, to ensure your seat, I'm actually going to put a little cut and paste here. I'm going to make sure I get that in here so that you can see it. And that is the details for how to reserve your seat for the masterclass. Now, the reason why I'm popping it here is it should be pinned there. So you should be able to see it at the very top of this thread. Now, the reason why I'm suggesting that you reserve your seat now is as soon as you enroll, you will start to get daily videos sent to you from me that are little snapshots, little aha moments, little things that I've experienced, little things I've seen that will help you understand why you have been potentially not fully embracing your own feminine power and energy, okay? So the masterclass is called the 3 Massive Mistakes that I keep seeing again and again that women make, that are keeping them on this gerbil wheel of exhaustion and overwhelm and potentially even heading to burnout. And I'm going to be talking to you about how to become powerfully feminine throughout the webinar. I'm also going to be inviting you into a very special offer I'm making on the masterclass to join the Powerfully Feminine Sisterhood. So I'm looking forward to the masterclass with you. I'm looking forward to you joining the sisterhood. But in the meantime, let's continue with our lesson here today. So today I am going to be discussing with you the significant difference between the true and the false feminine. Okay? So as I said, you are getting a little bit of a sneak peek preview into some of the work of the Powerfully Feminine Intensive program. Just a little sneak peek today. Now, I'm not going to be talking to you about the true and false feminine archetypes specifically here because I have numerous videos here on that. What I want to give you is this angle on your needs and desires, whether they are or are not being met, whether you do or don't know what they are. Okay? All right, so I am giving a sneak peek preview from what's called the polarity module, the art of polarity. I say it in American, art. I have to learn to say it in American, art. Art of polarity. I know not everybody here's American, but sometimes they go, art? What's art? The art of polarity. And yet, I am also today giving you a little bit of a preview into the art of desire, because desire is one of the 5 core feminine arts, as is polarity. Okay? So I don't know if you know or have heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, Maslow presents this concept of our needs and desires in this pyramid that looks like this. Now, at the base of the pyramid, we have, just reading here, we have what he calls our safety and security needs. Okay? Basic survival and then safety needs. Okay, they're the very basic levels. Survival, for example, breathing, food, water, sleep, homeostasis, excretion, etc. Very basal level needs. And then we have needs for safety. And this is everybody. This is a human thing, okay? We also have a need for safety. Safety of employment, of cash flow, safety of resources, our morality, our health, our property, for example, or potentially our family, okay? And then in Maslow's hierarchy, as we continue up, then you can start to ascend into the hierarchy of needs being met. That of love and belonging, which can mean friendship, family, or sexual intimacy, and what he calls self-actualization or self-esteem, okay? Self-esteem, confidence, achievement, respect from others, and then we can talk about morality, spirituality, self-actualization, etc., etc. Now, I've studied Maslow's hierarchy for a very long time, and what it revealed to me is that it does present something around the needs and desires aspect of how I train women and the true and the false feminine model, okay? So, in Maslow's hierarchy, the whole thing is, it's a pyramid that gets built on top of one another. So, if your need for basal physical safety is not being met, okay? If your physiological needs are not being met, warmth, food, water, etc., then forget about ascending into the hierarchy and talking about love, self-esteem, and self-actualization. Okay? That's essentially Maslow's model there in a snapshot. So what occurred to me was, with regard to desire, we must get our basal level, lower part of the Maslow's hierarchy needs met first. And this is another way of looking at the false feminine and the maid and the princess, is they're sort of stuck at that level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, or of their needs. Okay, we don't have to talk about Maslow anymore. So whether the maid, for example, the maid is constantly feeling like she can't, she doesn't have self-worth, she can't get her needs met, and she feels very like in a victim orientation, underneath, like she doesn't have power, very, very powerless, a sense of hopelessness even. So she doesn't even have a fighting relationship to her needs. She feels very resigned to that these needs are not being met or barely being met, okay? The princess, however, comes in and she recognizes these needs and she struggles and she fights to have them met. Now, often the princess, the whole piece about the princess is she's fighting and struggling because she's actually not consciously aware of what she's struggling and fighting against, because they're what's called negative desires in the art of desire work. She's actually fighting in a world of unconscious negative desires and conditionings that have been imposed upon her, right? So let's fast forward a little bit. As you get trained to be powerfully feminine, okay, which you can be, let's just be clear here. Everything I talk about is not to dishearten you, it's to give you a very clear pathway toward your true feminine emergence. So the true feminine, through training and mentorship and sisterhood, which I insist are required for us to get out of the unconscious paradigms from which we come, toward a conscious ownership and embodied awareness of who we are, what we want, what we're worth, etc. Okay? So in the line of desires and needs, what happens as you engage desire, as you do what we call a deep dive into desire in the desire module, in the art of desire, you encounter a few things first. The first thing you encounter is, whoa, I don't really know what my desires are, and or you start to encounter desires that you realize have been conditioned upon you, right? So let's just say this is the realm of where a woman starts to escape the gravity and the heaviness of the false feminine, and she starts to wake up toward her true feminine awakened self. But in order to do that, she's going to have to take a deep dive into a few things. She has to look at the wounds to the masculine and feminine. We do that in the art of polarity work, okay? But essentially, she has to start to discover her own desires beyond conditioning, beyond what's been imposed on her, even by the most well-meaning partners, family, children, parents, education, socioeconomic conditioning, whatever it is, okay? She needs to wake up and discover, well, who am I? What do I want? Are these things that I thought I want really mine, or are they other people's desires for me, right? So in this process of deep diving into desire, a woman starts to go, oh, she starts to stand up, she starts to wake up, she starts to, literally as if she's waking up from a slumber, a sleep, in which she's kind of been trudging through the world, either feeling helpless and a victim to the world, the maid, or that she's feeling like, believing she has to fight for her needs and desires to get met. Now the problem there, of course, is from the princess's perspective, if she's fighting for needs and desires that she thinks she wants, but they're not the real thing, you're still on this gerbil wheel of not getting the needs met. Okay. So back to Maslow's hierarchy for a second, if we could. The thing is, this is why I say don't use this model to be derisive or derogatory or create self-judgment or judgment upon others. Because the thing is, when we look at Maslow's hierarchy and the need for physiological and emotional safety, if those are not met, forget about talking about confidence and self-actualization and actually being able to really be in true partnership and give and receive love, be of service, have a mission, live your purpose, okay? What we want you to be able to do is to feel like those foundations of the physiological and emotional and energetic safety are taken care of in order that you can go through this process of self-discovery, in order that you stand up in your true feminine. Okay, let me check in with you, ladies, at this point. Verena, hello. Kristen, hello. Liv. Varsha, Lauren, welcome, welcome. Okay, so I've really passed what I wanted to pass here today. I don't want to make it any more complex than this. As I said, this is like a bit of a sneak peek preview into excuse me. Let me say that again. I don't want to make that any more complex than necessary. I wanted to give you a little sneak peek preview into some of the stuff we go into in the Powerfully Feminine Intensive program. Because you see, I can talk about things generally with you. I can give you some ideas about what it feels like to be a queen and to stand in your queen and to inspire you. But the truth is, without mentorship, without guidance, and without a pathway that is clear and outlined for you to start to uncover in yourself your true inner feminine, then it's not going to help you that much. So let's finish here today with these concepts, some distinctions for you about this relationship to your power as a woman. So the maid essentially has no power. She's outside out oriented. As in, she sees the world just totally outside herself. She doesn't feel like she's in the world, that she has power in the world. She feels like the world has all these knobs and switches that she doesn't know how to switch on and play with. Like, she doesn't feel empowered. The princess is in this relationship of power over things. She is outside in oriented. So what that means is the princess is constantly taking cues from the world around her as to how to be and who has the power dynamics. Yeah? So she sees the world in power dynamics, and this is why she often ends up in an orientation of fighting or demanding. Excuse me. See, I told you I'm cold today. Excuse me. All right, so let's look at the true feminine to contrast this. The queen has a sense of personal power. She is inside out oriented. She feels powerful in herself. She feels embodied. She has confidence in her body, in the signals she gets. She knows how to orientate herself through the world from the inside out. And the priestess is about divine power. She is inside in oriented. Now what that means is she has the sense of herself directly in relationship to the divine, and she takes her signals from the divine inside her and from divine presence as to how to navigate life. This is how she sees herself. She sees herself in relationship to the divine. Now, of course, usually if somebody is really connected to the divine, they're often in an orientation of service. They have a very clear sense of service, but it is equally service of the divine as it is service of people. Okay. All right, lovelies. So any ahas, realizations, or questions at this point? Hello, Trophy. Where are we at? So this particular module, this is a section of a module from the Art of Polarity. And this is just one section of one of 5 videos that I give you in every single module in the Powerfully Feminine Intensive Training. So the reason why I set it up like that is each module has a flavor, you know, the 5 core feminine arts, the art of polarity, the art of power, the art of desire, the art of receptivity, and the art of pleasure. And within each module, there are 4 or 5 videos and exercises for you to do. Sometimes they're written, sometimes they're with the jade egg, sometimes they're in terms of action and movement and embodiment. And they're all designed to fill in all the gaps that you probably didn't even know you had around your feminine power and energy. So that's why I've set it up like that. So I've given you a little snapshot today. So essentially one of the things that we can say about this movement or this difference between true and false feminine power is I like to use this concept. It's from victim to victorious. Victim is the false feminine, that sense of being underneath, of being powerless, whether you've succumbed to that or you're fighting it, you're still powerless, or you're victorious and you're standing up in your essence and you can see the world differently, and different opportunities come toward you, different people, maybe different partnerships come toward you, different collaborations, different relationships. It is a different world order when you stand in your queen and you stand in your true feminine. And I'm absolutely here to encourage that in you and for you. I will sign off here today, but I do encourage you, if you have ahas or questions about today's topic, to pop it down there in the comments section. Sending much, much love from my heart to yours, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for the next day of our FEM-ATHON. Much, much love, and bye-bye for now.